Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Krishna Rakshatuno Jagatraya Guruhu. Krishnam Namasyamyaham. Krishnena Marasitravo Vinihataha. Krishnaya Tasmai Namaha. Krishna Deva Samuthitam Jagadidam. Krishnasya dasosmyaham. Krishne tisthati sarvametadakhilam. He Krishna samrakshamam. Jai Srimanarayana. Today is September 19th, 2022. We'll be starting with Bhagavad Gita message from Lord Krishna. That is chapter second chapter, 12th sloka. I will share my screen. Are you able to see the screen?
We can see it. It's not full screen, but we can see it.
PowerPoint presentation. So from current slide. Can you see it?
Yeah,
now?
no, we can see it. Yeah, it's full screen.
Now it's clear? Okay. Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Please chant. Natve vaham jatanasam. Natvam neme janadhipaha.
Natvam meme janadhipaha.
Nachaiva na bhavishyamaha.
Nachaiva bhavishyamaha.
Sarve vayamatah param.
Sarve vayamatah param.
Let's chant together. Natve vaham jatanasam. Natvam meme janadhipaha. Nachaiva bhavishyamaha. Sarve vayamatah param. So Lord Krishna started giving Bhagavad Gita message to Arjuna and to all of us. And with Acharya's blessings, we are receiving this. So like Arjuna, so how he surrendered to Lord Krishna, he declared that he is disciple. And please instruct me. I'm going to follow your instructions. I'm surrendering to you. That is how we need to surrender ourselves to Lord Krishna to receive this message. Only when we surrender, we will be getting this message clearly. Surrender to our Acharya, surrender to Lord Krishna. And let's pray to give us this message as it is supposed to be, understood. I mean, let us understand it. Of course, he is going to give the message, but we need to surrender ourselves to qualify ourselves to receive this message. So it is to us to declare ourselves as disciples and surrender to him to get this message. So. So Lord Krishna is saying, so natu eva aham jatu na asam. Okay, so he's saying there was never a time when I did not exist. Aham is I. Jatu na asam, right? Is there was never a time I did not exist. Okay, so see the double negatives here he used. And natvam. So again, jatu na asihi. So there was never a time when you did not exist. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, there was never a time that I did not exist. There was never a time that you did not exist. And na ime janadhipaha. Again, there was never a time when these kings did not exist. Okay. Sarve vayam atah param. That is, surely there is no such thing that there will not be, that we will not be existing. So basically, there was never a time that we did not exist, and there will not be a time where we will not exist in future. Okay, so that means we always existed in the past, and we always exist in the future. So, I mean, this is a very fundamental concept that is, we need to understand it very clearly. So, of course, he's referring to you, Arjuna, and then all these kings. How can Lord Krishna say that there was never a time I did not exist, and especially you did not exist and the kings did not exist? I mean, that's not possible, right? Arjuna is like about 90 years old. So how can Lord Krishna say that there was never a time that you did not exist? So what is that tvam, that you, that Arjuna, that Lord Krishna is referring to? What is that aham, I, that Lord Krishna is referring to? That is basically saying that is always existing. I am always existing. You were always existing, and all these kings, all these people were always existing. Basically, that is. It is Lord Krishna is, of course, not referring to the body, is referring to something that is other than the body. So this is, I mean, we need to get this. So he didn't use the word Atma here. Okay, he used I, you, and they. So we are. So if I say I have to. I have to think it is body or Atma?
Body. I is body, right?
No.
Atma.
Atma. So when, let us, I mean, if I itself refers to Atma, I don't have to say my Atma. See, this is where the difference comes, and very, very fundamental thing. Typically, we may refer to Atma as my Atma, your Atma, his Atma. His Atma rest in peace, or his Atma, was there. There is no such thing as my Atma. I am Atma. Okay, my body is right. So I am Atma, and this is my body. This is the most fundamental concept. If we remember this, then the Bhagavad Gita message is very clear. So that's so that is why you don't see my Atma always existed, your Atma always. He didn't say that, not Krishna. You see the statement here. I always existed. You always existed. He didn't even use the word soul, self, Atma, and all that. You refers to Atma. I refer to Atma. They refer to, is referring to Atmas. Okay, so that is the most fundamental concept. He is talking about Atma, not body. Because if he is referring to body, then it doesn't make sense. We don't even have to listen to entire Bhagavad Gita message. We can close the book and then leave, because everybody knows that Arjuna was born at a particular time, and then so he's not. It's not that he was always existing in the past, right? So this is not even saying that you were existing in this particular kalpa under this Brahma. Of course, we'll get to the Brahma day calculation later, but always existed. I mean, even before this creation started, also you always existed. There was never a time that we did not exist. There was never a time I did not exist. There was never a time you did not exist. And there was never a time they did not exist. So Atma always existed. So that is about the past. Now he's saying that we will always, all of us, surely there is no such thing that we will not be existing in future. So that means we will always exist. See, the reason why double negative is used, I existed in the past, let us say. Okay. Then you may say, okay, you existed for 90 years and before that you did not exist. That can be, that kind of a meaning can be taken. If somebody says, I existed in the past. Of course, I existed yesterday, I existed 90 years back. So that statement is true. So is he saying only 90 years then? That is, in order to remove that confusion, he used double negative. That is, there was never a time that you did not exist. That means you always existed. From, I mean, you didn't even take birth. If say somebody takes birth, means they were not existing before that time, right? So Atma did not take birth. Atma is not created at a particular time. It is always existing. Okay. So this is the most fundamental concept. It existed even before this creation started. And it exists. Okay. So that is about the past, and in the future, it always exists. Okay. Atma always exists. Now, there are theories saying that Atma goes and mixes, and then it will not exist, right? It will cease to exist. That is, Lord Krishna is clearly telling in the first sloka of Bhagavad Gita that there's no such thing as Atma mixing into something and losing its existence. It will always exist. Okay. So that's clear. Second thing is that we need to know here is Lord Krishna very clearly said, I, you, and all these, right? So if it was only one, right, he would not be using that terminology. I always exist, you will always exist, and these will always exist. That means the number is not going to change, right? So if there are 10 items here, they will always exist, means 10 will remain 10 only. It will not become 9, right? And because they were always existing in the past, so it will never become 11. So all these Atmas that he is referring to, they are plural in number. It is not something that somebody came up with a theory and then proposed. It is Lord Krishna saying these words directly. Okay, I understand there could be other interpretations somewhere else, but going by what Lord Krishna said, these are multiple. Okay, they always existed in the past. They will always exist in the future. And they will not. I mean, we will give more information about the qualities of Atma and all that. But this is the most fundamental concept. I will always exist. That is Paramatma. You always exist. That is Jivatma. Okay, and he didn't stop there. These will always exist means other Jivatmas also will always exist. Okay. So it is not like you are there in them or they are in you, and I am in you. He is not saying that at all. In this particular sloka, he is very clearly saying that we are all distinct. Okay. He will later talk about equality in between all the Atmas, but he is very clearly saying we are distinct, we are plural in number. We always existed in the past, we will always exist in the future. That means we will not dissolve. When we get moksha, we will somehow vanish. It will not happen according to the true meaning of Bhagavad Gita, what Lord Krishna gave to us.
So he's separating the body and the soul.
Yes,
So how
he's
can
not talking about, in
Yeah.
this particular sloka, he's not talking about body at all. He's referring to the soul. I mean, we prefer to use the term Atma because soul is having various connotations, in various, people use it in different, with a different meaning. But it's okay. As long as you understand the soul is Atma, then you can call a soul. That's fine. Yeah, he's referring to Atmas or souls.
So the consciousness belongs to the body or the soul now? Like I'm now worried, thinking about, we talk about this body, right? The right and wrong. So it's about this referring to Atma then.
Yeah. So let me, so this is the Atma is the one who has the knowledge. Okay. So Atma is the sentient being or knowledgeable being. It has the knowledge. See, very simple. When somebody dies, so Atma is no longer in the body, then the body doesn't function. So there must be something in that body which is the one that has the knowledge, right? So that has left, then the body is now just inert object. It's basically it is insentient. Okay, it's inert or not. We are calling bodies part of Prakriti, which or Asat. Okay, so Sat is the Atma, Asat is the body, which is part of the nature. Body is made of elements of nature. Because once the Jivatma leaves the body, then the body is disintegrated into the elements of the nature again. So, and then again it takes another form, right? So yeah, the knowledge or consciousness is with Atma only. Body does not have any knowledge on its own.
But how can people make good and bad then choices? If the
It
knowledge,
is
of that, there's no.
So that I mean, a dead body cannot make any choices. Very simple, right? So the body, see, when a person is living, he's able to make choices. The person dies, the person is not able to make any choice. That means something that was making choices left the body, as simple as it is. So the knowledge that is there in that body as Atma's nature itself is knowledge, So we'll come to that in a later slokas. So so that has left the body. So now the body is just inert object, is not functioning anymore. It is not able to make any decisions. It is not able to, like, when the Jivatma is in the body, when somebody tries to cut the body, then say, oh, and they will get the pain and they will react to it. But in the body, when somebody died, they can cut, they can burn, nothing happens to, the body will not wake up and start running. Nothing will happen to that body. I mean, it will not recognize anything because it's just lifeless body. So that is the life we are calling, it is the one that is in the Atma, which is having that knowledge. So prana, it takes with it, and no, it's no longer in the body anymore. So the difference between Atma and body, Atma is the one that has the knowledge. Body is created for the purpose of Atma, to experience the karmas of the Atma for that particular birth, which are assigned to that particular birth. All this will become clear, throughout the remaining 17 chapters. But for now, take it that like we have the Atma. So Atma is the one that is always existing, that will always exist in future. It is the one that has the knowledge. It is making the body function by being present in the body, right? So here in this particular sloka, Lord Krishna is not referring to the body, he is referring to Atma. Because how can he say that, hey, go and fight, Arjuna, you go and fight and obviously kill the enemy. Now you can say they will always exist in future. I mean, it's doesn't make sense, right? So he's referring to the Jivatmas only by saying you. So when we think about ourselves, don't think body, just forget about body. Okay, for now. When you say I am Atma only, I'm always existing in the past, I will always exist in the future. That is the message that we need to take. Body is also important. We'll talk about the purpose of body and all that. So it is not that we should ignore body completely. We have to take care of the body, but we are not body. It's like we are going in the car, we are, let's say somebody is driving a car, and so the car and the person inside will appear as one, right? So when you see from outside, there's a person inside driving the car. Now, when there is the car goes on a muddy road, okay, and then it is raining heavily. The person doesn't feel it is falling on me, right? The person inside the car will feel that the mud is falling on the car, rain is falling on the car, there are scratches on the car. He'll always refer to, oh, there are scratches on the car, or mud is on the car. He will not say there are scratches on me, mud is falling on me, right? So when we need to see this as we are going through, we are Jivatma, we are going through a journey using this as a vehicle. Body is a vehicle, and we are traveling, we are having a journey through this particular life, okay? And just like, of course, I don't want to give the next sloka. So this is what we need to understand. Any other questions on this?
So, Varaprasad, just one thing to remind here, all of us. So, in general, in India also, especially in Indian languages, when we are not feeling well, we say, my body is paining. We don't say, I am paining.
Yeah, yes.
That's another thing we have to observe. If you carefully observe. ఒంట్లో బాగలేదంట అదే నాకు బాగలేదనమ్మా.
Yeah. Yes.
So the other thing I also wanted to say, even though there are difference of opinions, one thing that is agreed is moksha means not coming back. That is agreed.
Yeah.
There is no dispute there.
Yes. Yeah. So those concepts will come as we go along. Yeah. So the Atma will always exist. Doesn't mean that it will take birth again and again. And why are we here is also explained later. Why did we take birth in this body? Birth is not for the Atma. Birth is for the body. So why did we take birth in this body is very clearly explained. Why do we go through these kind of experiences? Everybody is going through different experiences in their life. why somebody goes through hardships, why somebody goes through a lot of pleasures, without making any effort. All that, it will become clear as we go through Bhagavad Gita. Why certain person has a different, kind of a personality, different from another person who has a different personality. And we are calling it as gunas. So there is a lot of discussion on gunas as we go along. And our tendencies, somebody is, angry always, somebody is very soft always. So what are all the tendencies? Somebody likes certain kind of food, somebody doesn't. Why that happens, all that is explained. But we are Atma, we are all distinct. We are all distinct. We have our own journeys. Okay, there is no relationship except that we are all subservient to Paramatma. That will come again later, but I'm just giving for a summary purpose here. So the relationship that all of us have is we are all equal, and we are all, when I say we are, I'm not talking just about human beings, all beings. Okay, so all beings are equal and equally subservient to Paramatma. We will define, go into more details as we go along. But that is the relationship that we all have. Bodies have relationship, that is different. Bodies take birth in a particular family. That relationship is different. Atma's relationship is with Paramatma. Okay, so that is one. And now we talked about Atma, and we are body. Body is made of elements of nature. Okay, so that is insentient. I mean, that is not having knowledge on its own. It is, it cannot function on its own. Okay, so anything in this universe is functioning, means it has Atma in it. Okay, so not just those people, we should not be thinking that Atmas are only in human beings. No, the Atma is present in each and every object that is manifested in this universe. Okay, not just on earth. Okay, anything that is manifested, that we can see, that we can, some of the things that we cannot see, because of limitation of our eyes and all that. But anything that is manifested, that was brought about, that took birth, that was created, has Atma in it. Okay, so it is Atma is there everywhere. Atmas are there everywhere. This is one of the most fundamental concepts. They are all distinct, but they are all equally knowledgeable. We will go to that equality concept in 5th chapter, but I just want to bring it up, for your clarity here.
Sir, these Atmas are present in nature, means naturally produced or generated things, are the vehicles. Suppose we produced a car, or we produced a object, or we built a house. Will those have Atmas, or only nature generated things will have Atma?
Very good question. Anything that we see, so this particular table, this computer, this light, in anything, whether we create, are we creating, this table is there. I didn't say magic and then table appeared, right? This table came from a tree. Okay, isn't it?
uh,
So a car came from let us say it is made of iron. Iron came from again nature. So anything that is manifested it can change form, but anything that is manifested has atmas in them. Okay.
oh,
Okay. So we shouldn't be thinking that only God. Again, everything is God created. We'll come to that. It is only we are just instruments in creating this table. I cannot, I just made this table. I shouldn't be claiming that I am the creator of this table. I never created the tree that gave me this table, right? How can I say I created this table? It came from a tree, and somebody might have planted the tree, but he didn't create the earth in which the tree was maybe a plant was planted, or he didn't create the rain, he didn't create water, he didn't create air, all that was useful for building for the
growing
tree,
a tree.
growth of the tree. So it is the tree was there, and then we just change the form. We use the tree and change the form. So it is
But
not like something I created. So suddenly some Atma came and living in this.
But
Okay.
now when it makes a table, then it becomes an inanimate object, right? Because there's no life in this, there's no Atma, right? So we can't say that has, right?
Okay, so very good question. So even rocks, tables, anything that is not moving also have Atmas. It is not that only breathing, moving beings have Atma in them. Very good question. Everything that is manifested in this creation has Atma in them. Again, this will become clear when I'm just to answer your question. I'm saying that, but there is a sloka for it. Lord Krishna clearly says, I'm the one
Charachara
who creates.
Jagat. We call it as Charachara Jagat, sir.
Yeah. So
The
he
Charachara.
clarified in later. So with the actual sloka and clarified on top of clarification and all that. So in multiple places, not just in one place. So it's a very good question. It is going to come up again in multiple places. So he is the one who created. He placed Atmas in the materialistic nature. This is why we are calling it as materialistic nature, right? He placed the Atmas in them. That's when creation started. Now you may say, oh, it is not moving. Your question was, right? It is not functioning. Okay. It is that, see, just like how we are functioning, the birds are not functioning, right? Are we same? No, right? So a tree is not functioning. Tree is growing also. So you may say, if somebody several years back, maybe they would be thinking that tree does not have life, but people know that trees have also life. They grow, but that growth is different from the function of the tree is different from the function of a bird, different from function of a human being. Even a rock has a function. That is a function that Atma in that rock provides. Okay, got it? So the function of that rock is different from function of a tree, function of a bird, and function of a human being, function of Devata, who are also creations. Okay, so Lord Krishna makes it very clear later. So just remember this, because we don't want to, there are so many slokas in which he explained this. So it will become clear as we go along, and I will explain at that time. So got it? But remember that the Atmas, fundamentally, there are multiple Atmas in every materialistic nature. Could be human bodies, could be bodies in birds, animals, trees, rocks, any water, anything that you can think of, it is atmas are present in them. So there are, okay, this is what is called tattvatrayam. Tattva means what is reality, truth. Okay. Now, so there are three truths in this particular creation. Okay. I mean, three truths for us. We don't have to think about everything. But so what are the three truths are given directly in the first sloka of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, message of Bhagavad Gita is I, you, and all these. Okay, so I am Paramatma. Okay, he didn't have to mention I am there forever. I mean, what was the necessity for him? Because he's not getting, he's not the one who is getting killed in that particular. So let us take this scenario, right? He's talking to Arjuna. He doesn't want to fight, so because he is going to kill the grandfather and his guru. That is the scenario there. Why does he have to differentiate himself from Arjuna and from of course the body? He is not referring to body because he said you are there forever. Why didn't he just say that these just atmas are always existing, or atma is always existing? He didn't say that. He differentiated himself. Paramatma is unique. Okay, we'll learn about Paramatma. He explains very clearly what is who he is and all that, and he explained about multiple distinct atmas. Later he will say there are equivalent, so not same in the sense that they are like not one, because he mentioned very clearly they're all I, you, they, he said. So they always existing means they will not become one. There say 13 always exist means 13 will not become one, right? So they always exist. So by saying that atmas, okay, so Paramatma, atma is Sat, and the remaining is very clear. What that does not exist is does not exist in the sense in the same form. Okay, that is Prakriti. But even Prakriti cannot be destroyed. It is always existing. Okay, so it changes only form. I mean, very recently, they say matter cannot be destroyed; it can only be changed, right? What is it? Conservation of matter, conservation of energy. Some principles, physical principles came. So
Einstein's principle.
Yeah. So recently they're saying all this, but our the Vedas talked about this for a long time. Matter in this universe is constant. Okay, like I built this table. This table didn't come from nowhere. It came from a tree, right? So the tree was reduced there, and and the table was built here. Okay, so it only changed form. Now a tree is growing, and when a tree grows, it is using the material from the earth, using water and all that. Okay, so it is again changing form. It is not creating. Matter is not created. Our body is not created. When we are living, means we are using material from the nature. We are appearing in this form. When we die, this material again goes into the nature again. So matter in this universe is always constant. Nobody can destroy it. Okay, when we think that we destroy, like people say, I destroyed a tree, but tree became wood. It will go into something, and then it's only changing form. Okay, so somebody may say, oh, something got evaporated. It changed from like liquid form to gaseous form, right? So it's not like it's not in that form. So matter cannot be is constant. Atmas are constant. Atmas are taking birth using the matter. Okay, based on the karmic bondage, whatever karmas they need to experience, all that will be clear in future. And Paramatma is distinct from these two. So these Ishvara is generally the word used for Paramatma, because he's the one who is commanding this entire universe. So Paramatma, he's Atma, but he's Supreme Atma. So he's because he's the creator of this entire thing. So again, it will become clear later. So he is Supreme Atma. There are every other Atmas which have knowledge, okay, and there is matter. These are the three fundamental realities or truths that we call as Tattvatrayam. They always exist. Okay. When even, I mean, of course, later in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says at the end of creation of this kalpa, it will go into the, it will go back into him, and then will come back again. So we'll talk about those when it comes. So this entire matter goes into him, at the end of the kalpa. So we but it's clear, like even immovable non-living objects have Atma in them. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, that's good. Good. So we'll go to next sloka. Can you see the PowerPoint?
We can see it.
Okay. Listen. Dehinosmin yatha dehe.
Dehinosmin yatha dehe.
Kaumaram yavvanam jara.
Kaumaram yavvanam jara.
Tatha dehantara praptihi.
Tatha dehantara praptihi
Dhirastatra namuhyati.
Dhirastatra
dhirastatra namuhyati
Dehinosmin yatha dehe.
Kaumaram yavvanam jara
Tatha dehantara
dehantara praptihi
Dhirastatra namuhyati.
So he talked about Atma. So in the previous sloka, Krishna introduced us to the concept of Atma without even using the term Atma there. He only used as I, you, and all these. So he's only referring to Atmas there. So in this sloka, he's giving the birth concept, right? So so he's saying Dehinaha asmin yada dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara. Just as our body, when it is growing, right? The deha, we're calling it our body as deha. When it is growing, it has childhood, and then youth or adolescence, and then old age. Just as how there is our body, is growing. Tatha Dehantara Praptihi. So there is just as how while being present in this body, the body is going, right? So in the same way, similarly, when there is when finally when it dies, the body dies. Okay, Dehantara Praptihi. There is attaining of another body. Okay, so while in this body, the body is changing. When the body's function is over, okay, it takes another body. Just like how the body changes, it is going from one body to another body. Okay, so Atma does not die. So he's very clearly saying that there is no, see, there are two concepts here. One is the body is the one that is changing. Okay, he's saying that the body is growing, from baby to a child to young age, and then to old age, and then finally death. So it is the body that is dying, growing, and then dying. Nothing happens to Atma. Okay, Atma doesn't become old along with the body. Then after the body's function is over, we'll talk about that in detail later. So then it goes from one body to the next body. So it takes birth again in another body. Okay, so that is how the Atma continues from one body to another body. Okay.
Quick question, Varaprasad ji. So
Sure.
is this a reference to rebirth? Is it saying that, what, we are born and again? Is that what it's saying?
Yeah. So of course there is a, we'll go into more details, like as Balaji mentioned, there is after our entire karmic bondage is removed, right? There is no karma to experience for us, for the Atma. Then that Atma does not have to take birth again. It is not necessary to take birth again. Okay.
But
In this particular world, see, there is a difference. This is like a multi-year course. So there is a difference that taking birth in this particular nature, okay, and going to another world where there is taking bodies out of our own will, we will take bodies. So here, when we are here, we have to experience the karmic bondage. So we are forced to take birth. There's a difference there. So we do not have a choice in this particular world. We do not have a choice. We have a certain things to experience, and then we'll be pushed into a body that will be suitable for those experiences. Okay, we don't choose. I don't want to. I will not be choosing that I want to become, this rich person or a powerful person or beautiful person or this part of the world. I have no choice at all in that matter.
Not only a person, a body, it can be animal, bird,
Yes.
anything.
Yeah, that's correct. Perfect. So another body there. So it is going from one body to another body, that body to another body. So it takes birth in another body. Atma does not take birth. So the body takes birth when this Atma enters in that body, starts growing. It'll reach a stage where the experiences for that body are over. It's like you start in so a train journey, right? Starting station, you get into the train, and then when you reach the end, the destination, you have to get down. There is no way that you can say, I want to sit there forever, right? So this is a journey. So we start the journey in a particular body. In a particular body, in the sense, it is not like suddenly, day one we won't become like 6 feet human being or some bird or something like that. So it is like a small cell we may be starting. So slowly it will start growing. The body is the one that is growing, not the Atma.
But I'm
Atma,
confused. You're
yeah.
telling the body is growing, but not the Atma. But the Atma is acquiring more knowledge. That means it is also growing. No?
Okay. So Atma does not have to acquire. There is a difference. See, the knowledge that we are talking about is different from the knowledge that we think of in our day-to-day terms. Like, I need to learn calculus, I need to learn Java programming, I need to learn something else. So that is not, those are materialistic knowledge, right? That we are talking about. This is not, the knowledge that we have is that is different from. Who told you how to see? Tell me. Did somebody tell you how to see?
No.
How did you get it? Who told you how to hear?
Yeah.
Okay. Did the body tell you? No. If the body is the one that is telling, then even after we leave, the body should have the capability to listen. I'm just taking some examples there. So we have a certain knowledge with us. There is again going into fifth chapter, other chapters, but the knowledge is there with us, but we do not realize. Okay, it is like covered because of our karmic bondage. That is again very, very clearly explained in Bhagavad Gita. So we do not have to gain knowledge, and then gaining knowledge is not growing. I'm talking about physical growth there. Now the more relevant question is that when the body is growing, then you could have said, oh, then if let us say the Atma is there in one cell, the same Atma is there when the body becomes 6 feet. Okay, the body is not, the Atma is not growing, the body is growing. Does it mean that rest of the cells in the body will not function? Because, right? You could say that. See, like Atma is very minute in nature. We'll come to that later. So, so it is smaller than the smallest element that you can think of. Okay, it's not even made of material nature. But even if you want, for our imagination purposes, let us take the smallest and smallest of the thing that we haven't even seen in this particular nature. It is smaller than that. When it is smaller than that, how is the entire body is functioning? It is very similar to, we have a light in the room. Okay, light is there in one place, but the entire room is lighted up. Now, that light spreads through the entire room. Okay, it doesn't go outside because it's covered, right? Okay, so imagine there is infinite light, and that infinite light is there, infinitely bright light. Okay, but if it is there in one room, it will be limited only to that particular room. Okay, it cannot go beyond that particular room, even though it is capable of. Okay, so when the body is growing, like imagine that light is there inside the room, and the room's walls are spread. Every day you are shifting them. Yeah, the light will spread. till the place where the walls are, right? So the entire room is lit. So this particular Atma, imagine it like an infinitely bright light that is spreading. That light is nothing but the knowledge. So the knowledge is spreading through the entire body. As the body grows, the knowledge also grows along with the body. So it is not like, oh, there is some limit to this particular knowledge. If I grow suddenly become like 60 feet, my Atma is not capable of spreading knowledge throughout that body. That means if knowledge is not there in a particular part of the body, means the body doesn't function, the part doesn't function, right? So as good as death for that particular part. So it is that doesn't happen. So even though body is growing, because Atma is even though Atma is minute, small, smallest of the small, the function, the quality of that Atma, as commanded, as supported by Paramatma. Here the concept of Paramatma comes. We'll go into detail later, that with that particular energy that is driving that Atma, that the knowledge spreads throughout the body. So the Atma doesn't have to grow with the body. And only when we start gaining knowledge, then the Atma starts. So that gaining of knowledge, like the materialistic knowledge, is not the knowledge that we're talking about. This is not right? I mean, we are talking the most fundamental things, like how you are able to hear, how your body is functioning, all the senses are functioning. Now, for somebody, the senses don't function. They're not able to see or hear properly, or a particular body senses don't function. Okay, so that is because they have to experience that particular. They have to go through those experiences. So those senses, even though the Atma is capable of, that is turned off, not initiated for that particular body. So it will not function as long as it exists in that body. Goes to another body, it will happily function. Like let us say an Atma is there in a bird's body, it's able to fly in the air. Same Atma comes into a human body, can fly, right? It doesn't mean that that Atma doesn't have the knowledge to fly. Because when it enters a bird body, it is able to fly. The bird is able to fly, right? So we have the knowledge, whatever knowledge is needed, the ultimate knowledge that we have, that is the self-realization. Again, we will come to that those concepts later, but we need to recognize that we have that knowledge within us, that Atma we are talking about. Like, again, not my Atma, it is Atma, and we will be able to once we realize it, and our perspective changes. I mean, that is the whole concept of self-realization. That's what is we will learn through Bhagavad Gita.
So you're telling, I'm confused. So the Atma is pre-programmed, the senses also, like in each body, you mean to say, and also diseases are pre-programmed, how an individual goes through the life, or is it different again?
Okay, so if you are saying that pre-programmed in the sense that we have to go through these experiences, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so let us take that. Now, based on the karmic bondage that we have to go through certain experiences. We cannot avoid it. Okay, so that is first and foremost. Okay, so we are born with certain duties that we need to do. We should not skip them. That is what Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna. Okay, we should not be when we experience those whatever is allocated for us in this particular life, those karmic experiences will not repeat again. So, simple thing is, let us say I have a debt. You take a loan. You have to prepay it. You can say, yesterday I took the loan. I won't. Today I didn't take the loan, so I'm not going to repay it, right? So yesterday you take loan. Today, when you get the money, you have to repay it. When you pay back the loan, you will not be asked to repay it again. So that is over. Your karmic. So imagine, let us say somebody has to go through a particular experience based on whatever karmic records are allocated to that. Sanchita karma, agama karma, so those things will come later. Whatever is prarabdha, we have, whatever is allocated for this particular life, we have to go through. Okay, and right, so that will not repeat again. Okay, so you may say, but we should not be over smart and say that, okay, let me invent some things myself, then those will become my experiences, karmic experiences, and then I don't have to go through them again. That's not the case here. So we have to do our duties. While doing our duties, we will go through some certain experiences. We have to go through them. We need to know how to save ourselves from those experiences if they are bad experiences, but we will not be able to totally avoid. Like, for example, I want to go to office. Starts raining. Okay, starts raining. That is the experience we have to go through. We have to go through the rain. I cannot say that, oh, I need to stop. Stop raining, right? So it is not something that we created on ourselves, right? Imagine, like, who would want rain to fall when we are going to office, and then we get drenched. So that is an experience that we have to go through. That's a simple example of people may go through financial troubles, health troubles, and all that. So that is while doing our duties, we are going through. We did not invent ourselves. However, there are certain things that we do ourselves, like spoiling this environment. Okay, not following the dharmic practices, which causes trouble. Imagine we have to go on a road, on a highway, 50 miles per hour, in like a safe distance between cars. That is what is the righteous things to do, let us say. Somebody, just because we have a car that can go 100 miles per hour, everybody starts driving all over the place. Then what happens? Accidents will happen. That accident is not something that was, it is a karmic record that we have to experience. It is something that because we chose our intention to do it, unrighteous thing, that experience we go through. So again, it is a little bit, it goes into debate, like everything that we experience, is it already written for us? Then we cannot avoid it. There are certain things that are allocated for us. We will go through, but we have to do our activities in a righteous manner, so that we will not experience any bad situations in this particular life. Even if we don't experience anything, those records, whatever we did not follow, they will catch up with us in our next lives. Okay, so what is that righteous thing is what we will learn throughout Bhagavad Gita. So for example, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna you have to fight. Now Arjuna has a choice. He doesn't have to do it. He can choose not to do it. If he doesn't do it, it is going to add karmic bondage to him. He will have to experience that lack of not doing the duty in some particular form. It could be form that we cannot imagine. Whatever form it could be allocated to us, he has to take birth in a particular form, in a particular body, and then he will have to go through that karmic experience that he did not do the duty properly in the previous life. So we are there forever, right? So we are existing forever. So there was never a time that we did not exist. So we have been going through millions and billions of lives. We have been acquiring karmic bondage throughout all these lives. That karmic bondage, part of it is allocated to us, that we experience no matter what. Whatever decisions that we take here in this particular life, whatever we do can add or remove karmic bondage. Okay? If we decide to do things that will add karmic bondage, it will make us suffer in whatever way that God chooses us to suffer. It is again not our choice. I don't want to do my duty, but I want to repay it in a particular way. We have no choice there. We have to go through whatever is allocated in whatever form that is allocated. So there's the concept of destiny is slightly different. Somebody decides, takes extreme actions. Those are in their own hands, not destiny. Whatever they decide not to do is something that is going to harm them forever. So Lord Krishna here in this particular sloka is saying, Dhiraha namuhyati. So he's saying that Dhiraha is not the brave person that we typically know. Dhiraha is a wise person. So he's saying that wise people, wise person, will not be confused about it. So just like how we go through in this body, the Atma travels in this body. In a sense that when the body keeps growing, so the body is traveling, so Atma is going along with it. In the same way, it will go to the next body and travel along with that body again. So it's like going in a train from one station to another station, get down, take another train, go and start the journey again in a different direction to another destination. So like that, go from one destination to another destination to another destination. And in each of the journeys, whatever we have supposed to go through, those will experience. All the people who get in and out of the train in that particular journey will become, our friends and relatives and like that, right? Acquaintances. They will be people who are going to support us, who will help us. There are people who will harm us, who will cause trouble. So that is the journey that we go through, and then again go to the next train, pick up a next train. Don't remember anything. Again it's a new journey again. Okay. Whatever we did, it's not like totally independent. This journey, this particular life, is not independent of the next life. What kind of life we get in the next life is again defined in Bhagavad Gita. So it is not like you can do whatever you want in this life, and then you'll get a new life again, and then you can do whatever you want in that life. No, it is totally connected, not in terms of the material, not in terms of the kind of relationships that you maintain in this life will continue in the next life. No, it is the gunas that will come with us. It is a karmic bondage that will come with us. We'll talk about that when the context comes. Okay. We'll try to cover the next sloka. Can you see the screen?
You can see it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Matra sparshastu kaunteya
Matra sparshastu kaunteya
Sitosna sukha dukkadaha
Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha
Agamapaino nityaha
Agamapaino nityaha
Nitya
Tam stitikshasva bharata
Bharata
Let's chant together.
Matra tu kaunteya Sitoshna
Sukha
Sukha Agam
Agamapaino
Anitya Anatiti Bharata.
Bharata.
Okay, so Lord Krishna is saying in Sloka 14, Kaunteya, O Arjuna, son of Kunti, Matra sparshastu Sitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Okay, so we feel pleasures and pains in this life, right? So Lord Krishna is explaining to us how we get those pleasures and pains. So matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaha. We're saying matra sparshaha. So because of sense contacts, when the objects of our senses contact our senses, okay. What are the senses that we have? Anyone?
Smell, taste.
Hearing, seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rupa, Rasha, Gandha, Sparsha.
Yeah. So
Touch. Yeah.
right. Yeah. So when the matra sparshas, we are living in this world, right? We, Atma, in this body, is living in this world, experiencing this particular world through our senses, isn't it? So our body is made up of the same fundamental elements as this nature. That is the fundamental elements of nature: earth, water, fire, air, and space. Right? So those are the 5 fundamental elements of the nature. Okay. Now, the fundamental elements, again, when you say earth, don't think that the entire earth. The earth component, water component, fire component, air component, and space component. The 5 fundamental elements of this, those 5 are called Panchabhutas. So, the fundamental elements of those are called tanmatras or matras. Okay, that matras, when the senses come in contact with them, they're influenced by, senses are influenced by those fundamental elements in this particular nature. That is how we experience things. I mean, This is like explaining, going into very detail about why do I feel, hot and cold, right? Sita, Ushna, that is cold and hot, is because I am able to experience it through my senses. What I'm experiencing, the fundamental elements in this particular nature, which is earth, water, fire, air, and space. A combination of that is a sense object. Any object that you see in this universe is made up of these 5 fundamental elements only, including our bodies. Okay. So different proportions, right? It's not like same for everybody. So when that body comes in contact with our senses, which are programmed to experience, programmed to sense. That's why you're calling senses. So then we feel, we perceive it, right? So that perception is treated as hot or cold, soft or hard, and or spicy or sweet. What else? So those are the dualities we call about. Okay, so the opposites, like sweet is and spicy are 2 opposites. Or heat and cold are 2 opposite. So we feel when we see something, or when we experience through our senses, we feel one of these, right? In a range. Let us say I'm touching something hot. Okay, I may say, oh, this is 60 degrees. Okay, so, or when I say I touch ice and say, okay, this is very cold. So I am able to experience that through my senses. Okay, and that is actually turning into pleasures and pains. So from those sensory experiences, I am deriving my pleasures and pains. Okay. You can we'll go more details, but just want to mention that how is fire in a particular in any element?
Is that so?
Fire.
What is the question?
Fire.
Can you say one more time?
So every object in this universe, anything that is manifested, is a combination of these Panchabhutas, right?
Mm-hmm.
How can you say that there is fire in this particular table, or that tree, or some?
It's the sun rays.
A subtle form of, everything has a combination of all 5, right?
Elements of the
Yeah.
So again, space. How can you say space in a particular? When you think of space, you think of, right, outer space. How can there be space here?
Yeah, the
Where is
subtle
space?
form. It's there. It's in a subtle form.
You can show it. Space can be seen, right?
Space is, we've got mass, we've got a body, right? So we occupy some space.
Yeah.
The sound is.
If we occupy space, is not made of space, right?
No.
No.
See, so this table is occupying this room, but this table is not made of room.
That's true.
So where is space?
It's in the table.
It's in our mind.
Yeah, it's in
Space is everywhere.
Yeah. So this is very interesting.
Yeah.
That like if somebody says there is so much fire in a particular atom, 100 years back, if somebody said there is so much fire in an atom that it can burn an entire city, would somebody believe it?
No. Mm.
So do we have fire in that atom or not?
Mhm.
So there is, you cannot see that fire in fire form, okay? But
Consciousness, they just.
there is fire in it. So that fire is released one day. I mean, again, that is, see, all these concepts, right? It looks, how can it be? And so whether I should believe it or not. Some of the concepts we cannot prove with our scientific techniques, but some we can based on today's knowledge. Okay, so when we know that, when we are able to prove it with today's knowledge, then we understand, oh my God, this is really true. Okay, so that atom bomb that was made actually released that fire energy from, because which is there in that atom itself. Okay, so it is hidden. We are not able to see. All these concepts are like, it is hard to believe. Somebody says one small object can destroy the entire hundreds of thousands of people. That much fire it will generate. Nobody would have believed it more, before the atom bomb. But did it mean that some external force actually fire came and then burnt it? No, that fire came within. Okay, so there was a mechanism that was invented to bring about that fire which was hidden inside. It is there as an energy in a form, that fire is there in an energy form that is released as fire when it comes out. Okay, so I mean, we talk about fire. When you burn wood, you see fire. That is easy to understand. Okay, but what how can there be fire in certain things like uranium atom? So
Varaprasad, for our human being, is that fire analogous to our mind, our intelligence? No, we can create or we can destroy things. We do things that can create or destroy things. No, it's not that.
We cannot create or destroy anything. So it is only changing form. We are not able to see in that particular form. We can only change, we can only change the form of that. Okay, so so this particular fire is there within. Now space, every atom has space in it, right? Atomic bonding. So there is space between the two atoms. It's not like, even though it will feel like an object, now that is not air between the two objects, that is space. Okay, again, I mean, trying to correlate it to say that this is scientific. It is not some story somebody came up with, just to convince somebody. It is there. Now, how it is that earth, water, and fire, earth, water, and air, is part of their everything. Yeah, they are in certain form that we may or may not be able to realize. Okay, based on the current technology, we'll say, okay, there is earth, means there's, okay, carbon is part of earth, part of this particular body, and so every body is made up of carbon. So maybe we'll be able to say that, but fire and space we wouldn't have imagined at all. Okay, so somebody invented atom bomb. They simply explode Bhagavad Gita. That's it. believed in Bhagavad Gita and just explored it. So they were successful in coming up with a scientific experiment to release whatever is there in it. Okay. Anyway, so I know we are over time. So very quickly, I think we'll again try to touch on this one next week. So matra sparshas kanti. So we are experiencing Sita Ushna because of our senses are coming in contact with the sensory of object of our senses. So our taste coming in contact with the one that is giving us taste. Okay, eyes are able to see, is coming in contact with the color and form. So that is what we are able to see. And then these are agama apayinaha. So that means they come and go. Those experiences, the Sita Ushna experiences, the dualities that we experience, they come and go. Okay. Anityaha, they are transient, they are not permanent. They keep coming and going. It's not like they will do forever and ever and ever. So he is going to say when it will stop. That is when we are liberated, when we get the moksha state. Okay. So then these experiences will stop. Tan titikshasva bharata. So they what Lord Krishna is saying, Bharata or Arjuna, tan titikshasva. So you tolerate them. Okay. So we are getting these pleasures and pains because of the sensory experiences, and they are not permanent. I mean, they come and go. So when we have something really favorable and we're liking it, and it's then we get pleasure. Don't think that it will be permanent. Okay, that will go. When something is unfavorable to us, it is painful, and all that. Don't think that is permanent, and be depressed about it. That will also go. So they come and go, both pleasures and pains, they come and go. And they will, they are transient in nature. So again, they are not permanent forever with us in our, with us means Atma. So they will be, we'll go through these experiences as long as we have the karmic bondage. Once our karmic bondage is over, okay, there's no karma to experience, then we will come out of this birth, life and death cycle. It's a birth and death cycle, and we will reach a state of moksha. Okay, so we'll go into those details in later chapters. So, but this is the most fundamental practical thing that we learn, right? To learn to tolerate. If something really good for us, tolerate it. Tolerate in the sense that don't go overboard. Then something really bad for us, tolerate it. Don't be depressed. So that's what Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, that you are in this state, you are going through that because of your sensory experiences, and you learn to tolerate it. But you learn to tolerate and do your duty. Okay, yeah, whatever duty you're supposed to do it. Like Arjuna has to fight, and we all have our duties, so we need to do them. No matter what we think of pleasures and pains, if it is painful, then we don't do it. Pleasure, I want to do it forever. It has to be there with me forever. Then only I'll do it. That kind of a concept we should not have. Any questions before we conclude? I know we're 10 minutes over. Hope you find it useful. It's clarifying some of the questions that we may have.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Very helpful.
Okay,
Yep,
that's good.
that's helpful.
Mm.
In thanks to our Acharya and Lord Krishna for giving us this wonderful message to us. Okay, we'll conclude today with the concluding prayer. Kayena vacha manasendriyerva atmana va bhagate svabhavat karomi sakalam parasmai
Narayanaayati
samarpayami
samarpayami.
Srimanarayanaayati
Samarpayami.
Sarvam Shri Krishna
Krishnaarpanamastu.
Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Jai Shri Narayana.
Jai Sri Narayana. Thank
Jai
you so
Shri
much.
Narayana.
Jai Sri Narayana, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Good night.
Thank you.